evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, Chief of Army Staff visits troops fighting insurgency in Yobe State, pledges focus on welfare and equipment. Former military President Ibrahim Babangida urges Nigerians to support President Buhari as he tackles challenges of insecurity and booming economy. Muslims continue Eid al-Fitr celebrations and call for peaceful coexistence of Nigerians. And Kenya's Westgate shopping mall reopens almost 2 years after an attack by Al-Shabaab that killed 67 people.
On Business News tonight, analysts recommend single appropriation process for plugging revenue leakages.
And on sports news, Nigeria's Super Falcons are on the verge of missing out of the 2016 Olympic Games after playing a 1-1 draw with Equatorial Guinea in the final qualifier.
We begin in the troubled northeast region of the country, where the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, has visited troops fighting insurgency in Yobe State. Speaking to newsmen in Damaturu, the state capital, the Army Chief said apart from inspiring the troops on the ground, his visit will also stimulate better military-civil relationship. The Army Chief also said his visit afforded him the opportunity to assess the operations and combat readiness of the soldiers.
I hope some of you will follow me to Damaturu today, to the front to celebrate the Salah with the troops in the front there.
That promise was made last Thursday by the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Buratai, after meeting with the President at the Presidential Villa. In keeping with that pledge, the Army Chief is now in Yobe State. But his presence didn't stop the insurgents from striking in Damaturu in the twin bomb explosion, which killed about 15 people.
My presence here, as you can see, is to improve the civil-military relations. We need the cooperation of the government. We need the cooperation of all the citizens of Nigeria, and indeed the citizens of indigents of Yobe State.
But the Chief of Army Staff isn't discouraged and goes ahead to celebrate the Salah with the troops fighting the Boko Haram militants in the state. The Army Chief spends some time with the soldiers, which he believes will boost their morale.
My presence here will also boost the morale of the troops. This is one of the reasons why I'm here, for me to see them. And it will also afford me to assess their state of readiness, their, including equipment, and indeed their state of discipline, and we'll be able to assess the threat properly from this perspective.
The state governor, Ibrahim Gaidam, is also on hand to thank the new Army Chief for visiting the troops.
With a high degree of commitment he plays by coming to Damaturu on the very day he has taken over office. That is very great. Look at commitment. We have never experienced this kind of thing before. I am sure the officers and men of the Nigerian Army here are too happy because he came with this Salah Eid al-Fitr together, and he is now here giving you a high degree of morale.
The governor later hosts the troops and the Chief of Army Staff to a dinner.
And for the President's administration to perform as expected, former military President General Ibrahim Babangida has urged Nigerians to support the efforts by President Muhammadu Buhari in curbing the insurgency in the northeast. Speaking to journalists in Minna, the Niger state capital, General Buhari also called for patience on the part of Nigerians as the new government settles in to work.
We call on all Nigerians to rally around and support the government in whatever efforts it is making towards fighting the insurgency and also making all efforts to make the economy buoyant.
Meanwhile, former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has been speaking on the performance of the immediate past president, Goodluck Jonathan, especially the impact he made on the Niger Delta. Responding to questions after delivering the 11th convocation lecture at the Benson Idahosa University in Benin City, the Edo State capital, Chief Obasanjo said the scorecard of the former president leaves much to be desired. While admitting that he was part of the process that led to the emergence of the former president as running mate to the late President Umar Yar'Adua and later president, after the demise of his boss, he explained that there was little he could do to help him do his job as the nation's chief executive.
I believe the opportunity that afforded itself in 2010 for somebody from the minority to, on his own steam, become the president of Nigeria. We should never lose that opportunity. But what he did with it is entirely up to him. And don't forget, what he did or did not do with it will reflect for a long time on that part of the country. Don't take that lightly. What he did or did not do with it will reflect for a long time on that part of the country. There's nobody who will be there who will not be there. But you voted for him. I was not the only
Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Eid al-Fitr is a festival to mark the end of the 30 days fasting period for Muslims. It's also a time to show love and kindness to all, irrespective of religion, status or tribe. That's according to some Muslim faithful, saying that it's a sure way of ensuring peace, stability and progress in the nation. Our next report takes a look at how a family chose to celebrate the day with friends in the nation's capital.
It is a relaxed atmosphere in the home of Omidons. Soon after they returned from the Eid prayer ground, preparations of festivities started since they have no plans of visiting any fun spot. Immediately, Ms. Omidons heads to prepare food for the family. Soon afterwards, visitors started trooping in. This is the usual practice during Muslim festivals.
Timely completion, our correspondent Calvin Obetin.
With the living room filled with guests from both the Islamic and Christian faiths, they explain the significance of the day.
These are my friends, they are all Christians. And I think for some of us, there's no barrier in terms of Muslim-Christian relationship, you know. And so I would implore the non-Christians to also see the period as a period where people from both religions, you know, exchange visits, you know, and marry with one another.
They should always work for peace because we need peace in this country.
Some of their guests also explained the reason behind their visits. For them, the sort of relationship is key to bringing lasting peace to the nation.
There should be a cordial relationship between the two dominant religions in the country, free of rancor and maybe disbelief and other things like that separate us. You can see we are all together. We are celebrating Eid al-Fitr with our brother and friend.
We are more like family. In fact, he's a father to me, he's an uncle, he's a brother as well. Despite the religious differences, over the years we still stick together as one.
Although Eid al-Fitr celebration is a time set aside to mark the end of the Ramadan fast, many Muslim faithfuls, such as the Omidons, promise to use the holiday period for a much-deserved rest after weeks of work.
In part two, after the break, Former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, urges Jerusalem pilgrims to stay away from the politics of the region. That's in a moment. Please join us again.